'Twas the night before Christmas Eve.
Everybody dressed as Santa Claus into the building for free tonight.
Went all through the barn.
Holy smokes, those Santas are still coming in.
There were Santas conspiring,
This is a story we talk about forever.
intending no harm.
At no point did I ever think this was going to be such a big deal.
The plans had been plotted.
The clauses outnumbered security 10 to 1.
The costumes were sewn.
Could this be too much for us to handle?
But what happened next? Who could have known? All right, everyone's ready? Okay. All right, guys, here we go.
Yeah, so you guys finally found me. After 20 years. I'm from a town called New White Park. It's pretty much on the border of Queens and Long Island. Half of us were Ranger fans, half of us were Islander fans. You know, 3 to 4 years old, my dad was a super, super hardcore Ranger fan. That's what we grew up on, you know, Rangers hockey. Rangers hockey.
Grew up liking the Islanders, got passed down to me from my dad. It's like the low-key band that people went to go see and like, oh, there's this great band. You like the Rangers, that everybody does.
We had that group of friends that were spontaneous and were rambunctious.
We were an aggregation of the crazy guy from a group of friends.
Half of our friends were Ranger fans, the other half Islander fans. That rivalry was ridiculous. A lot of trash talking.
We were always looking to, I don't know, let's just say push the boundaries.
My name is Chris Botta. In 2003, I was the Vice President of Communications for the New York Islanders. You know, we were a pretty innovative, creative, free-spirited group with the Islanders. We were willing to try things. We did a lot of things back then that were somewhat unique, and this was one of them.
It was 2 days before Christmas. I remember going to NewYorkIslanders.com and it had this Santa Claus promotion saying, get in for free to the Nassau Coliseum if you're dressed up as Santa Claus. And then also, we're gonna allow all the Santas to go on the ice during the intermission and wave at the crowd.
The feeling was that it was a Thursday night against the Philadelphia Flyers. We hadn't sold as many tickets for that game as we'd like. We'd like a little more holiday spirit, a little more festive feel to the Coliseum.
To be honest, when you're a beat writer and you hear about promotions that are happening in the home arena, I'm being honest, you don't pay attention to that stuff. But there was something jarring about seeing hundreds of whatever it was of people wearing Santa outfits, and you're thinking to yourself, like, you know, this could get good.
So I said, you know, I refuse to go to Nassau Coliseum as a Ranger fan. But then, you know, a lot of my other friends decided to tag along, and he said the game was free. So I said, you know what, let's all go together. We haven't been together since high school, let's go. What is the cheapest way we can get Santa costumes? Who has like actual Santa costumes? If you don't have one, how are you going to get one?
The best I came up with was, all right, everyone get some red pants, then I'll give you an Islander jersey. And I went to Genevieve's, a defunct pharmacy. They had these $5 Santa, I don't even want to call it a mat, a couple pieces of cotton glued together with a red top. And once I saw that, I was like, all right, then that's what we got. Let's get a bunch of these.
And let's see if we can get into this game.
Once we all got to my house, that's when they came up with the idea.
I believe it was me that said, why don't we put the Rangers jerseys underneath the Islanders jerseys, and then when they do this promotion on the ice, just rip them off like a wrestler and just invade. My Islander friends were, you know, you guys, are you sure you want to do that? This is a pretty big rivalry. Are you sure that, you know, you want to take that chance of someone actually getting really mad? And I said I was in.
We were all on board. We thought it would be hilarious. A couple of your friends, a whole stadium of people booing them as an 18-year-old. Come on, that's as good as it gets.
15 of us sitting in Andy's house, putting our costumes on together, and like, you know, can you come put my hat on for me? Come, you know, fluff up my beard. You know, that's like a day that I will never forget.
It was just like our battle plans were drawn and we headed off.
It's the Philadelphia Flyers and the Islanders, and a special holiday pregame is straight ahead.
The hilarity was, as you're watching going like, well, they keep coming. Like, how many people dressed as Santa today?
There were moments of, could this be a little bit too much for us to handle?
I feel like the nervousness started to kick in a little bit when I walked in there. We're like, they're not gonna let us in. This is not like real Santa Claus attire. Like,
My friends were acting as if they had a Santa Claus detector at the front gates looking you up and down saying, oh no, that's not an official Santa Claus, you can't come in here.
they brought us in and we literally sat like in this section, like right by the glass.
They gave us very good seats for a free promotion.
Everybody dressed as Santa Claus into the building for free tonight.
What happened to his beard there? We got to pull that back up.
And then when it came time for the on-ice promotion, that's when you're like, oh, Santa Claus is down, blah, blah, blah. And then we worked our way and all the clauses lined up. That's when the magic happened.
Holy smokes, these Santas are still coming in. Every time I look down, there's another row. I guess they're going for the Guinness Book of World Records. Most Santas assembled in one place at one time. Certainly at an NHL game.
I hope they didn't think the popcorn was free, too.
Time will run out here in the first period as we remain scoreless.
They opened up those gates to let us in, and I see just open ice, and I'm just like, this is gonna be amazing.
My friends go out onto the ice and they reveal their jerseys. We were saying, is it gonna get any sort of reaction? Then it gets the boo.
I remember just ripping it off and then having 10,000 people boo at me, like Jeter at Fenway. And it felt great. That was one of the top feelings of my life.
I'm like, oh my God, there's some Ranger fans out there. You gotta be kidding me.
I pushed my friend in a response to the boo, and then the crowd gives a cheer. However, the other Islander Santas who didn't know we were friends, they took that as their cue. Wait, I want to be cheered like that. So then they walk over, and now they're pushing my friends. So now there's a mixture of good Santas, bad Santas, that the people didn't even know who to clear off the ice.
The guy immediately, I remember, take off the jersey, take off the jersey. I took it off and then I started waving it around in my hands.
Someone is hitting me, and I think it's my friends. I looked up, and I'm like, I don't know who this person is.
And then you had a 9-year-old hanging off my friend's neck.
Whoever you are, I want you to reveal yourself.
It's like, uh-oh, is this going to be a cops thing?
Obviously, I thought like we were, that was it for us. Like we're not watching the next period. Like we're out of here. We're going home. And the next thing you know, like we're just going back to our seats. And I'm just like,
It went wrong the right way. I never had that sense of something bad could continue to happen. It was more of just, boy, there's nothing more hockey than this.
Must have been about 1,000 Santas on the ice between periods.
We just enjoyed the rest of the game. Like nothing happened.
Here he shoots, he scores! They beat the Philadelphia Flyers here at the Coliseum 4-2.
A couple days after that, in between Christmas and New Year's, where we realized it was like, oh my God, it was on the news.
This is going to get out there, and that's good. The New York Times, who didn't always cover us, they wrote this big story about what happened on the night that the Santas hit the Coliseum.
Apparently I was on Good Morning America. I remember watching the next Ranger game and Sam Rosen was commenting on it.
And what is that Rangers fan doing out on the ice? The Islanders Santa's got him. Look at the little guy getting him.
some people made it out to be like a Santa melee, but it wasn't anything like that. It was more of like a playful prank.
It grew in myth. And in my head the whole time, I'm like, this was just funny.
I mean, it was comedy. To me, it was funny. So it never dawned on me like, oh, these guys are going to be in trouble. Like, the only thing I thought of was, how the hell are they going to clean this up? They got to get a game to play.
There's a lot of malice and hard feelings when it comes to Islander Ranger fans, but I don't sense that when it comes here. I think this was just a very funny, unique moment that we're talking about 2 decades later.
This, to me, is an event that we will never forget.
This is a story we talk about, forever.
This event, along with many others like it, were one of the many building blocks in our lifelong friendships.
This one story brought me and my friends to this super cool, bonding, happy place 20 years later.
Rangers, Islanders, it doesn't matter. Lifelong friends.
I'm not suggesting ruining events, but if there is an acceptable level of tomfoolery, I still will stand by this as being fun. How bad is that, by the way? 20 years later, I'm saying, yes, definitely, I would do something like that again.
The funniest story I've ever been a part of.
I would love to see this.
How is that many Santas?
Whoa. This is fantastic.
I don't even remember throwing it. The little kid. The little kid.
That's the little guy hopping on you.
There's me. I'm looking up, I'm like, these are my friends.
How did he not get kicked out?
It was just 20 years ago.
I've never seen that footage before. I mean, that's so incredible.